What? Heather? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Meditation Weekend number 28. It's cold here in Chattanooga. Yeah, it's funny it's funny what your spirit knows that your mind doesn't know. And when I canceled that thing, I thought, well, I guess the I am part of me knew something that the temporary part of me didn't. Ed took off. Ed, lives in Knoxville. He took off because he was coming to the meditation weekend. So when we canceled it, we can't get rid of him. We canceled it, and he followed us on down anyway. Most people would have just turned around and said, well, I'm going back home. He's like, oh, hell no, I'm going all the way down to Atlanta. So we're glad he's here. Y'all come on in. Stop playing. Come on in. Ain't got time for foolishness. Those of you who are logging on, what's up? And Eddie just asked me if anything's new. I'm like, well, I remember. You remember when the Rhoda spinoff from Mary Tyler Moore, when it first came on, and the pilot episode was her getting married. And remember, Phyllis forgot to pick her up, so she had to take a subway because the wedding was going to be at her parents' apartment. So she finally gets to the apartment in the Bronx, and she's standing there in a full wedding dress with a veil and everything, and the music has started, and the neighbor across the hall walks out in a muumuu, taking out her garbage. She's going, hey, Rhoda, what's new? She's like, nothing. Nah, nothing with me either. Didn't even notice, hey, Rhoda, didn't even notice she's in a wedding dress. So, nothing's new with me. It's all good. I already preached my entire sermon to BJ, so I'm going to go on now. He's just going to give you a encapsulated version. No, I have a good word for you. I'm glad to be here. I needed to be here. I derive a lot of energy from you and appreciate you all, and just grateful for however long we're going to be in this theater. I'm grateful for we've had some really special times in here, and I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what the future holds about. Like, if I ever started a ministry or started a church, I think I would call it something like Church in the Now or something. I don't know. I'm very intrigued with that idea of just taking no thought for tomorrow. And I'll tell you about I know you're going to be shocked. What? You're going to talk about your current drama? Yeah, I am. But we're here, and we're not on a meditation weekend, but let's just take a deep breath. I mean, I got stuff going on, but you do too. So try to leave it outside for the next hour or so. And just consider this a sanctuary. Come into a quiet place, a safe space. Take a deep breath. I'm not going to ask you to join hands, but you know what I feel like doing? I just want to touch you. Touch the person next to you. Just feel that. It's just good to know they're here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. A lot of times Avery will come over and just put her hand on me, and I know what it means. It's just like, I'm here, I'm aware. We're all in this together. And just feel that's a type of meditation. Isn't it? I don't know if y'all have this with your significant other, but sometimes if I'm in a tizzy about something, it's just, Ken will just say, it's going to be fine. And it's a simple thing to say, but it's like as soon as he says it, I'm like, you know what? Yes, it is. And I needed you to say that. Of course I knew it, but I needed you to say it, and it is going to be fine. And man, I know you saw that. I guess she reissued it for her 80th birthday, that Dolly Parton. It's a great song she wrote years ago called The Light of a Clear Blue Morning. But they've reissued it with several country singers and also Queen Latifah. And it's just, I probably have listened to that thing 100 times this weekend. And the last, I can finally say it without crying. At the last lyric, she looks in the camera and goes, everything's going to be okay. And I think about Dolly Parton singing that. I'm like, you know what? Dolly wouldn't lie. And with whatever any of us going through, whatever we're going through in this country, every time I turn on the news, I'm like, am I imagining this? Like, what?
Right.
Now, let me get this straight. We're in a war with Venezuela, and even as we speak, I'm not making this up, France and many of the people in Europe are headed to Greenland to protect Greenland from us. I'm like, wait, what? And there's no point in saying, what happened to America first? I'm like, okay, what did Dolly say? Get in here. I'm not playing. I don't have time for y'all. Get in here. And but everything's going to be, it's just going to have to be.
That's right.
Do you know? It's just going to have to be okay. And it always is. And I think you brought it up last week. Even just the symbolism of the way our Christmas party turned out. It was it wasn't just about the party. It was a reminder stuff works out.
Yes.
And even better than you could have planned. He does exceeding abundantly above all you can ask or think according to the power that works in you. So I've had several people text me the last few days like, do y'all have a plan? I'm like, no. I'm in ER right now trying to we hadn't quite worked out a plan yet. But everything will be okay. So having said that, give me a couple of really good breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Do a little bit of that. Shake it off. Move your head around. Try to get the stress out of you. And just be okay. Just be okay. It is well.
Yes.
Let's do the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, present. You know what? Let's do the old school. I don't want to go through all this. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Now you may be seated. Whatever the theological implications of that, it's neither here nor there. There's just a comfort in saying those words, especially in a group setting. It's kind of like the way the 23rd Psalm is. And so it's cathartic to pray that prayer that we're all familiar with. And I'm sorry, you went to all the trouble to find a nice background for us, Michelle, and I was like, whatever. So your son was in that? What's the name of the school? Embry. That's Sophia. Sophia's flying a plane.
Yes.
I called her yesterday because I knew that was actually taken a few days ago, but that was the first time she went up. But I was like, when did you decide to?
All right, Sophia, you are right above us right now. So cool.
And I talked to her.
I'm so proud of you, kid.
She's got a lot of her dad in her. She lives with him now, and because she was going to school there, and which I had an interesting conversation with him too yesterday. I'll tell you all about that. But I as soon as she landed, I called her and said, Sophia, what the heck? Yeah. When did you decide? Because I thought she wants to be a writer. She says, no, I'm going to be a writer, but I got to pay the bills. And she said, I just thought this is what I want to do, and she got accepted into it. As far as I have heard, it's the premier flight school in the country. And I said, because her dad, his military is covering most of her school. That's why she moved to Florida. I said, does your dad cover that? She says, some of it, and some of it I'm to do student loans, but I'm going to make so much money, that's no problem paying back. I'm like, okay. And she said, I'm still going to be a writer. I'm going to write, but I love flying. I said, well, they're not mutually exclusive. Get in here. We don't have time to play. Just go, just go, just go. And don't take it personally. I've yelled at everybody this morning. It's not just you. Don't think you're special. But anyway, I'm super proud of her. I mean, nervous. I texted Dyson. I said, would you please let me know when she lands so I can unclench my butt cheeks, please? And, but, I'm like, this is the girl that flipped a car last year, but statistically, flying is safer than driving a car. And the last thing I want to do, if this is what she's going to do, I don't want to put a fear mojo on her. So I'm like, all right, then I'm proud of you and be careful. And she must show some promise for them to have accepted her. Honestly, the timing of it was just so nice to have other news to deal with right now. It's like, it just helped so much to be able to, talk about her and excited. She's so sweet. And
What's the contrast between that and your mom? It's like
I'm
worlds.
totally. I was like, thank you. This is so nice I'd be proud of her anytime. But right now, it's like, yes. It just made me feel like all things are possible, and it's not the end of the world, and the world's bigger than taking care of my mom. And it just had a 1,000 implications. Speaking of Dyson, Dyson and I, my ex-son-in-law, he and I are totally good, and he and Christina co-parent very well, and it is what it is. I did not know this until yesterday, because I'm sure you all know my mom fell Thursday and broke her pelvis, and it's as serious as it gets. She doesn't even realize how serious it is right now. And so Dyson had texted me, and who is it? Oh my gosh, she said she was coming. You better have showed up. If you hadn't shown up, I was like, don't lie to the Holy Ghost, Ananias. Get in here. I'm glad you're here. You look cute. Y'all remember? Oh, she's leaving? Oh, that was... She already wrote me a prophecy this week and everything, and I believed it. Claudette's been a prophetic voice in my life for a long time. Anyway, he texted me and he said, I'm really praying for... He calls her Mimi. I said, praying for Mimi. He said, I was in an accident and broke my pelvis. And he said, you have no idea. So I called him. I said, what the heck? All the years he was in Special Forces, never got injured. He did tours in Iraq, Afghanistan, never got injured. He works for the government now, but teaches diving and stuff. And a jet ski ran into him. And you cannot believe he's in a wheelchair. He's got a bar across his lap that has to hold him together. He's got to have a series of surgeries to see if they can teach him how to walk again. I'm just like, how did I not know this? And he said, I just haven't wanted to tell anybody about it. And he said, I just am telling you. I said, I mean, you're a healthy young man, and this is this difficult for you. She has no idea what she's in for. But he's super, we had a really good conversations. He's super positive. I had a good prayer. I said, of course you're going to get through this. Of course you're going to walk again. And even having Sophia there with him has been super helpful. And he was telling me some of this, this is going to make me cry. I'm too early to cry. God almighty, I've cried so much this week. He said, well, Sophia just said, Dad, the only way out is through. You're going to have to go through. I said, well, if she knows that at her age, she'll be fine. I mean, because that is true. And we had a really great yes and conversation. And, I considered him my fourth son. And, when your kids get divorced, you have no choice but to not take sides, but, I'm like, I'm not gonna be objective. I'm gonna be on my daughter's side no matter what, but it doesn't affect my relationship with you. And I think I told y'all this, but when Sophia graduated from high school back in the spring, he came out, he and Megan have been married for years, and he has stepdaughters, and we just had a great time. So, Christina and her, y'all remember Scott that came here? They're not married. He's proposed many times. I'm like, marry that guy. What the hell? I'm sorry, I'm cussing a lot these days. So if you're going to be offended, leave now because it could get worse. My filters. Something's happened. I've lost my filter. There's a the premise in the Golden Girls was that Sophia Petrillo had a stroke that removed the part of her brain where she didn't have any filter. That's why she was so outspoken. And one of my favorite lines is when Dorothy was introducing her to somebody, and she had just said something, and she said, "You have to excuse my mother. She has no filter, and she is, how shall I put this, a complete burden." I love that line. Anyway, so I've spent plenty of time with Dyson and Megan, his wife, and his stepdaughter's real sweet. It was like, y'all remember, I talked about it. It was just wonderful. And, you've got kids that have been through divorce. It happens. I mean, it just happens, and it's just part of life. But I had a great conversation with him and just couldn't be prouder of Sophia. It's just, all my grandkids are just amazing, and it's wonderful. And I told him, I said, she's got a lot of you in her for her to have this thirst for adventure, and of course, with both him and Christina yesterday, I said, y'all have been amazing parents, and your girls have turned out incredible, and so it's all good. Before I talk, let me say that our outreach this month is St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. I'm always happy to do the healthcare is so insane now what it costs, and this is for children mostly with cancer, but it's any childhood disease, and they pay for everything. They house the parents. I'm amazed that they can maintain it on private donations, but they do. So any little bit of help that we can do with that, I'm always glad for that. Obviously, Meditation Weekend 28 is on hold. I don't know when that's going to be, and it could be sooner than later. I have no idea. I think let me tell you what happened, because I don't want my teaching to be all about this. Most of you are in touch with me online, so you already know. Mom fell Thursday. I was upstairs, and I heard her yelling. I thought, is she yell? And I went down there, and she was in the kitchen floor. She was, and for better or for worse, I tried to help her up because she said she had to go to the bathroom. I felt bad about it later, but the physical therapist said, no, he said it probably didn't make it any worse than it was. But I got her up. She was just opening the refrigerator and got over, imbalanced and just fell. And so I tried to walk her to the bathroom, and she was screaming with every step. I said, this is not working. I just stop. And I pulled up a chair and called the paramedics. And I have to say, everybody's been great. The ER was a bit of a nightmare, but only because it was just overcrowded. The staff was actually fine and great. I've called it DeKalb General my whole life, but Emory Decatur Hospital is a really good hospital, and I have no complaints. Mom does. Mom says, I don't think the women on this floor like me. I said, Mom, just don't even start. But anyway, and I'm trying to remember, my days are getting mixed up, but there was one, it might have been the morning before, and y'all don't judge me on this, but I've had in recent weeks, there's been a lot of hard things I've had to deal with Mom. So we're just at a place right now where I take care of business, but we're not real huggy, and I'm just kind of like, here's your dinner, call me if you need me, but there's not a lot of, it's, you know what I mean? I mean, there's not a lot of good morning. There's just like, I'm going to get your lunch. I mean, that's just the world we live in. But I think it was Wednesday morning. I was leaving. She happened to be up, and I said, I'm going to get your lunch. I'll be back in a minute. And she just walked over and just quietly hugged me like she usually doesn't. And it felt, I don't know, it just felt like something's about to happen. It just felt different. Right. And she said something, I said, about worry. I said, Mom, everything's fine. Everything's going to be fine. I said, we're fine. Everything's fine. Now, that night, LaDonna, my cousin, had texted me and said, because the nearly year that we've lived there, my family across the street has taken care of dinner for Mom on Wednesday nights. It started with, because she wanted to let me still meet with my boys, but ever since Jonah's become a dad, we just can't get it scheduled. And Jared, I don't know if I'm supposed to announce this or not, but Jared's getting married, and the girl that he brought here, and she's perfect for him. We were supposed to have dinner with them last night. They were going to cook for us and talk about the wedding. I hope, God, he's so private. I hope please don't say anything, because I could get in trouble for this. But I like her a lot. She's really, really sweet, and she's like him. She's close to his age, and she's a forest ranger, which he's like. He loves to camp, and like it's just. I'm very, very happy for him. But bottom line is, I don't meet with the boys every Wednesday night now. It's just we did it every week for 3 years, and it's too hard now. But anyway, LaDonna said, we want to start taking care of dinner on Wednesday nights. I said, are you sure? She said, yeah, Mom needs to do something. I said, well, if it's super cold, she may not want to get out. And she said, well, if she doesn't, we'll take dinner down there. I said, great. So I go home. I mean, all I want to do is just go to the loft and sit in my recliner and just watch TV and doze. That's nirvana for me right now. To watch something on TV and just go, and nobody's calling me. It's like, that's better than, if somebody said, you got a free trip to Hawaii, or you can sit in your recliner and take naps, I'd be like, recliner, hands down. Give the trip to Hawaii to somebody else. So I was just sitting there, because I thought, they're taking care of dinner. I don't have to deal with the traffic. So I'll just, I'm usually home with her dinner 5:30, 6, at the latest 6:30, but somewhere in that window. So Wednesday, this is the day before she fell. I don't know if you've ever dealt with anybody with sundowners, but I'm telling you, it's like, you remember in the Wolfman movies when the change is that dramatic. Yeah. And so when I came in, LaDonna texted me. She said she didn't want to get out, so Mom and I took dinner to her, and we sat with her while she ate. I said, okay, great. So I was home, I'm going to say 7:25, because I thought, well, she's got dinner taken care of. I didn't even have dinner. I was just so happy. I was just like, that's as good as it gets for me these days. Y'all can relate. Don't act like y'all are a bunch of young bucks out there having fun. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And so when I get in, Mom follows me. She said, I just want to know, where do you go when you stay out this late? I said, Mom, it's 7:25, and I knew LaDonna brought you dinner. There's the plate right there. She says, yeah, but it's so late. I was like, Mom, it's 7:25. But apparently I was out past curfew. And, so I'm just like, well, I don't know, Mom, pray for me. I'm a party animal. I've been out to 7:25. No telling what debauchery I've been into. What? Nothing good happens after 7:15. Anyway, the next morning she fell, so they took her to the ER, and you know, ER it's a night. I mean, I don't want to say it's a nightmare because it's actually a blessing that people have it. But it's hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of waiting. We finally, by the time I got up there, they already had her in a little area with like 6 beds. And so I was there for about 14 hours. And so I saw all kind of people coming and going the whole time we were in there. There was a man sitting in there, and I asked him, how long have you been here? And he said, I came in at 1 in the morning last night. I said, you've been sitting here for 24 hours? And he said, yeah. I said, they don't have a room. It's a great hospital, but it's just crowded. Everything's crowded now. So, you know, it is what it is, and they had her so sedated, she was out, didn't even know. But what is funny, my mom, it's just the way she is, but like if somebody opened that door, she'd be like, close that door right now. I mean, that's just the way she is. She's like, that's the prima donna in her. She barks orders. So in her stupor, like you can imagine there were people making noise everywhere. And she's like, I am not going to tell you again. Stop that. And the girl, they're like behind the curtain, girl was moaning and playing. She says, if I hear you moan one more time, it's just so in her DNA. But the one that really cracked me up, because finally, after a few hours, I stopped arguing with her and I stopped apologizing for her. I'm like, y'all, I'm sorry. My mom's a diva. What can I tell you? I can't censor her. But there's a thing that she does, because she doesn't like when her dog barks. She keeps saying dogs, plural. And I keep saying, you only have one now, but she can't accept that. She sees a phantom dog somewhere. So anytime, which this is terrible of me. Huh?
Cat's laughing.
Because I know what he's going to say.
I found this, hold it thought, I found this service that it's an app that has a network of people that dog sit for you. And it's ridiculously expensive, but I found this really sweet girl who took the dog. I've got her paid through tomorrow night, and I don't know what I'm going to do after that. I'm going to go to the loft and find my quilt from Dr. Sheila and say, it's my prayer cloth now. I'm like, in the way that you help me with the birds, please. I'm totally Catholic now. I call on the saints. Oh, Saint, Saint Sheila, the helper of animals. Please help me place this dog. But anyway, so anytime the dog, what he's laughing about, the black one's name was Mitzi and the white one's name's Mia. I've never gotten their names right because I don't really have a relationship with them. So I'm always like the black one and the white one. So when I had to put her name, you have to do a profile to put her online. So I said her name was Mitzi. And Ken said, you know that dog's name's Mia. I said, uh-oh. And I didn't tell the girl any different. So when I text her, she says, Mitzi's doing just fine. I'm like, good. I don't even know her name, but good. So anyway, and this morning, whoever this is, if you're watching, please don't be offended. But somebody said, could you take your doggy up to your mom? Maybe. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm sure the nurse's staff is going to say, oh yeah, bring that. Mom hadn't even, I told her that the dog's taken care of, and she doesn't even ask about her again. Anyway, but back to my original thing. So anytime the dog barks, Mom she always say, no bark, no bark. She says that all the time. Anytime, no, you can take that down. No bark, no bark. So she's laying there, and there's a man buddy, by 2 o'clock in the morning, you can't believe the stuff that goes down in the ER. These two, I had one guy, he was ODing on cocaine, and he spilled all of his Oreos. He's on this side, and he's going into seizures. And there's these other two people are getting in a fight, and the security's like, sir, could you get up, please? So I get up and move, because they're refereeing them. I mean, they're 6 feet away from my mom, who's a blitz. She's out. And I'm like, I'm in a Fellini movie. I'm like, this is crazy. But anyway, So Mom always said, no bark, no bark. So this guy, he keeps sneezing. And every time he would sneeze, my mom goes, no bark, no bark. I mean, it went on for like an hour because he had some allergy thing going on. And every time, no bark. I am not going to tell you. So finally, at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I asked the nurse, I said, is there any word on a room opening up? She says, it could still be hours. And she said, I'm just going to tell you something. She says, she's going to get every bit of care here that she'd get on the floor. She said, if I were you, I would go home and get some rest. Because I could tell I was kind of in their way. Like they're trying to take care of stuff. And I said, you know what, I am. And when I went home, this is what I posted yesterday. Are y'all okay with me telling you all this? It's been an issue for a while. And this is going to be TMI, but it's my world. She keeps the dog in her bedroom. That's where she wants her. And the dog's like, attached to her. And so the dog's supposed to go to the bathroom on the paper, and she misses, and Mom either can't see it or is unaware, and it's just a thing that, she just tracks it. Even when she's on the gurney, I'm looking at the bottom of her shoes, and there's dog crap. I'm like, God, what am I going to do? I can't, when I tell her about it, she's not aware of it, and it's the whole thing. So when the paramedics were coming, I looked at the bathroom floor, and I thought, oh, my God, I've got to get it. You can't believe how much I'm on my hands and knees cleaning up crap everywhere. But there's only, at a certain point, I don't know if you've ever been in care, and I've got a cleaning lady that comes in once a month, but caretaking is a lot. And at a certain point, you just start choosing your battles. You're like, I'll get to it when I can. So I looked at it, and I thought, I can't deal with that right now. So in the middle of the night, when it's probably 3, 4 o'clock, I came in, I thought, I better go look at the bathroom. And I walked in, and it was spotless. And I thought, what happened? And my cousin LaDonna, who of course I would not have ever asked her to do this, she came in and cleaned it all up. And the day before, Denise down in Cochran had written me a thing about who angels are. And, I've told you the story about Zephyr so many times, and that felt really supernatural. But there's sometimes an angel is just somebody who is just there that knows what you need. I know that's just a small thing to say somebody came and cleaned up dog crap, but at the moment, I just burst into tears because I thought, you know what, I'm not alone in this. I've got people who really have my back, and without me even asking her, she knew that's what I needed. And it was just like, it might as well have been Michael the Archangel visiting me. That's how special it was. And what it reminded me of, that scene, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but that whole thing when, at the end of Color Purple, when Sophia says, that day I seed you in the stove with Miss Millie. What she's talking about was, after she got out of prison for all those years, and she was virtually blind, and Miss Millie gave her a shopping list, and that seems like a small thing, but that's a daunting task if you can't see. And there's just that scene is so beautifully directed, where Swilley sees her and just takes the list from her and just starts, putting items in the bag. That's what an angel does. Doesn't ask you. Anybody that doesn't say, what do you need? They don't even know you. People have asked what you need, just buy. People who know you know what you need, and they just do it. And I love because she fills up the bag and gives it to Sophia, and she goes like that, and it's just such a beautiful moment. That's the way it felt. It's like, wow, LaDonna, thank you. That was just such a sweet gesture, and I really, really appreciate it. So this is where I'm at on it. I still haven't talked to a doctor. A broken pelvis for an elderly person that's as serious as it gets. And Mom, she's so full of painkillers, she doesn't even realize what's happened to her. And yesterday, when we got up there, when we opened the door, I thought she was gone. The way she looked, she had looked so different than she did 24 hours earlier. I mean, just for a minute, I stood there and to see if she was going to wake, and she did. And we had interestingly, she was talking about her mother. She says, I haven't seen her in so long, but I'm dreaming about her a lot. And she was very lucid-ish. And so I told her some funny stories about things I remember about grandmother, and she was really laughing, and we just had a really good moment. Now, after we came back from dinner and the sun was down, she was mad because I wasn't taking her home. She's like, you promised you were going to take me home. I said, no, I did not. You're not going home for a long, long time. Because the nurse told me last night when she's released from here, they'll take her to a rehab center. Not even necessarily to get her to walk at this point, because the physical therapist came in and tried it, and they were just like, she can't even do it. Which is why, and this is what I talked to BJ about before, which is why I made that post about agreement. Because people that don't know, that hadn't seen my mom in years, they're like, we're praying for a speedy recovery. I'm like, I think energy matters. You know, like remember when Daniel prayed and he said, God said, I answered you 3 weeks ago, but I was battling with the Prince of Persia. I don't think those are demons. I think that's human energy that's not in agreement with you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why I posted, I said, I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. I want my mom to be at peace. I'm not if recovery means her getting a new body on the other side, then yes. But it's not that I'm just trying to get rid of the responsibility. I told her last night, I said, Mom, you have no idea what you're about to be in for. I said, rehab, it's like boot camp. I mean, and they're going to try to get you to get up and walk. And I said, you have no idea. I mean, you can't. And I said, I can't take you home. You can't sit on a toilet. You can't sit on a bedpan. I mean, I don't know. Even yesterday, I had to go get a nurse because she was slumped down in the bed. And I said, I don't want to move her and make it worse. Y'all need to come in and show me how to do this. And they came in. I mean, to their credit, they were right on it. And they said, you did the right thing. Because, you know, when you twist somebody the wrong way, you've aggravated it even worse. So it would be such a blessing. And I told her this. I said, Mom, if you're seeing Dad and you're seeing grandmother and stuff, I said, don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. And I said, everything's taken care of. I totally got the house taken care of. I'll make sure your dog, whatever her name is. And of course, I'm not going to be cruel to the dog. And this is what was interesting. I forgot to tell you. I posted it, but you might. I found this very telling yesterday. When we got in the other night, was this Friday night? Anyway, Mia was there, and usually she barks and stuff. She didn't bark at all. She's just standing there looking at us. And so I got her something to eat, which she didn't touch. And she wouldn't go to. I said, go to your bed, and she wouldn't. She just sat like in front of the door, like waiting. And she must have sat there all night because early the next morning I could hear her barking. And I went downstairs, and she's just barking at the door, which is her saying, where are you? And so I was supposed to meet this girl that's taking care of her this weekend. I was supposed to meet her like by 9 o'clock. And I texted her. I said, can I bring her on early because I need to get to the hospital? She said, yeah, that's fine. Real sweet girl. And so usually when both those dogs, like if you ever had to take them to the vet, you would think they were being murdered. The way they would scream, they were horrible at that. And you can't get them they're just totally undisciplined. I mean, totally. They've never been disciplined at all. And so when I was going to get her carrier, I thought, well, it's about to be on because she's going to run and hide and she'll be under the bed and I mean, that's typically what happens. I'm going to find her under the bed and get her in. She's going to howl all the way over there. I got the carrier, sat it down in front of her, unzipped it. She walked right into it, sat down, crossed her paws, and looked at me like, all right, let's go. She didn't make a peep on the way over there. When I got her to the house, I picked up some dog food for her, and she didn't make any noise at all. And I felt like that was meaningful. I felt like in somehow her dog intuition knows that, well, this is the new normal, you know, and I don't know, it was just kind of I've had several little interesting moments like that in the last few hours. So, I don't know, and I'm going to have to tell Mom this afternoon, because I'm sure they're going to, if she doesn't go soon, I'm sure they're going to put her in a wheelchair, and the house is not conducive to a wheelchair. I mean, there's no way I can navigate it. And so, I mean, I'm going to have to tell her. And yesterday, and she really listened to me. I said, Mom, when I was little, I said, we lived in Macon, and Dad pastored Napier Avenue Church of God, and I remember I fell and hurt myself real bad. I remember my face was all skin up, and I was crying. And I said, I remember you sat me down, and you said, I'm going to have to tell you something. You're going to have to remember all your life. Some things hurt, and they're just going to hurt, and there's nothing I can do about it, and they will get better, but pain is real, and you're going to have to learn to accept it, and it will get better, but you're going to, all through your life, you're going to have stuff that's going to hurt. And I can't tell you how many times in my life I have thought of those words. When I would get hurt, I'd think, well, you know what? She told me it was coming, and here it is, and it's, it is what it is. And I told her that. I said, you probably don't remember this, but I've remembered those words all my life, and now I'm telling you, this is serious. You have no idea. I said, this is as serious as it gets when you break a hip or a pelvis, and there's nothing. I said, they've got you on really strong stuff now, but if you weren't having these meds right now, it would be unbearable for you. And I said, you really need to think about what you want to do, because I can't take care of you like this, and I'll have to find somebody that will help me do it, that knows how to do it. And she just, stared at me for a long time. Like, I could tell she was absorbing it. Early in the day, she's much more lucid. She was absorbing it, and I mean, I'll probably have to say those things again to her tonight. And what's also interesting, she hates to be alone. And what I thought when we were the first night in the hospital, when I said we're going to go on home, and we went home fairly early, because I was just like beat, and I've got to sleep. I just can't keep going like this. And I was fully expecting her to say, no, don't leave me. And she didn't at all. She was like, okay, that's fine. So I feel like she's cutting ties with this side, with everything that's holding her here, because she hasn't asked about the dog. She hasn't asked about her phone, which I have not left with her, because I know her very well. And if she wants to go home, she'll call people all night long, telling them to come pick her up. She'll just go through her list, calling people. And so she hasn't even asked about that. She hasn't asked to watch Fox News. She hasn't. It's just been very, very different. So that's where I'm at. And what I asked in the agreement is, I said, if you can't in good conscience agree with what I'm asking for, then just don't be too specific about how you want her recovery. Because I've got strong energy. I'm just being truthful. It's hard to overpower my energy. It just is. I'm an elder. I've been doing this a long time. I can manifest stuff. I can make some, not everything, but I can do some stuff. I've got some mojo. But I don't like having to contend with other energy. So that's why I've been really happy to hear from people from Columbus, because I know she's very emotionally attached to Columbus. And I'm like, thank you. Y'all's agreement really matters. It helps, because I want her exit out of here to be peaceful. I don't want her to go fighting. I want her to be at peace. And the last 2 nights that we've left, I put my hand on her head and prayed for peace. And whatever's going to happen, it's going to be good. It's going to be fine. And so that's where we are. What?
I was sitting here thinking that we all know it's very common for people that get on to break a hip. I remember when Sammy's mama, she was at church. She stumbled, fell, said broke her hip. I remember the doctor telling Sammy that usually that's not what happens, that at a certain age, the hip breaks,
Yeah.
the pelvis breaks.
Yes.
That's what causes
Yes.
the fall.
Yes.
Because you almost got 90-year-old bones.
Yes,
brittle,
it's
breaking.
chicken or the egg.
It's
Yes,
one of those
exactly.
signs that you're living too long. Your bones
Well-
are starting to give out on you. And the only thing I would tell you is that you're coming to the end of this season. Might be a few months, might be a few weeks, it could be this afternoon, but this season's coming to an end, and this is just part of the process.
No, I know that. It's weird because are y'all still with me? I'm just babbling on. He can tell you it was really weird coming home because we don't even, once she goes to bed, we don't really hear from her. Sometimes she'll call me in the middle of the night, but it just was very strange just not knowing she was there. I went back the second time. I said, "Do you just want to stay here? You want to go with me?" He said, "Don't leave me here with all these people," she says. I don't want them to come get me.
He was reverting back to being a 7-year-old boy.
But it's felt really weird. And this morning, I'm just so on autopilot. I got up and immediately put on my clothes and started going out to get her something to eat because I usually leave her lunch. And I mean, I'm halfway out the door. I thought, oh, I'm not doing that now. And I did have the strong sense, I could be wrong, but I did have a strong sense. I thought, I don't know that she's going to come back in this house because I think they're probably going to, if she stays, she'll be in some sort of facility, maybe even a hospice. Because I don't think I have to tell you, I'm willing to do anything. I did stuff for my dad that I never thought I would do. I think I've proven I'm a caretaker. But on this, I'm like, this is out of my pay grade. I don't know how to.
And it wouldn't be fair to her for you to try.
I cannot provide it for her. It's not that I'm being a jerk about it. I'm like, Mom, I can't. This is going to require people who know what they're doing. I don't know how to do this. And that's why I'm trying to not convince her, but make her aware this is where we are. And I'm very interested with how people are in that in-between state and seeing them make peace with, I don't know, with that conversation early in the day yesterday was really, really good, because I mean, it was just good. I was like, Mom, everything's fine. And I was telling her funny things about grandmother that she remembered and laughed at. And, but yes, you're right. Yeah. And when you do, and this is true for any of y'all, that Psalm 124, it says, when the Lord turned the captivity of Zion, we were as them that dreamed. When a season does change, it takes a minute for you to get your head around the new normal. It's like, is it like even the last couple of nights, usually I have to take melatonin and listen to a podcast to go, because I deal with ringing in my ears, and it's like last 2 nights I'm just like, bye, I'm like, is this what other people do? And they just because I just psychologically knowing that phone's not going to ring. If she has a need, she's got a staff of people. Because you know how that is when you're in the house with somebody that could call on you at any minute and does call on you constantly, you never really sleep. You're always like, was that the phone? Was that the phone? And the last 2 nights not to have that, it's been odd, but very, just peaceful. So anyway, but thank you for your observation. What?
So my mom passed in 23, but 6 months prior to her passing, she called my brother and myself and said, I'm ready to go, I'm tired. She was on oxygen, she had COPD. 6 months later, she's like, you know what? Call it up. I'm out of here. I am done with it. But she was of a fluid mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
hurt
yeah, yeah, yeah.
us. She wanted to make sure we were okay.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we have to be respectful of that. Your mom, maybe she can't express that because of her,
Yes.
where her mind is right now.
Yeah.
So I think people really need to, understand.
I'm trying to be sensitive to that. And I had a similar talk with my dad when he was, he was unconscious basically. But I said, Dad, everything's okay, And I mean, at a certain point, I told him, I said, you don't live here anymore. You need to, because he was in such a bad state. I said, go on to the other side. I've got everything. I'm taking care of my, because those ties we have with the land of the living are hard. They're hard to break. And when you've felt responsible for a long time, something in you wants to, what?
One funny thing.
Yeah.
So hospice came, and told us about morphine and all of that.
Right.
Took her oxygen off. She lived a week after. But first time she woke up after they took the oxygen off, and she woke up, she's like, what the hell am I still doing here? She was pissed that she was still.
I love your mom.
She was upset.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. She's like, what the hell am I still doing here?
Well, one night, it was maybe a couple of nights before my dad left, I don't know what was going on with him, but he's just at the top of his lungs, gibberish, just going, and he still had that, he never lost that strong preacher voice. And, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm just sitting there like, Dad, please go to sleep. I mean, I can't give you, I've given you everything I can to knock you out, and you're still, I felt like he's really fighting to, in between two worlds. But in the middle of saying stuff I couldn't even discern, he said, somebody tell me how to fly out of here. And I said, just go, just fly, it's fine. But I mean, I really felt like the human mind's amazing how you come in and out of lucidity, because he would do that periodically. It would be him again. And when he said, how do I get out of here? I'm like, just go. It's fine. It's not, I mean, I hope you all know I'm not cavalier about, I know death and dying is a real thing. It's just I've been around it so much. Like I remember when I was I had to have been 4. This is, my dad pastored a church up in Tennessee, and back then, it was a lot of elderly people in the church, and when Sister so-and-so was going, everybody would go to the house. That was just like, that's what you knew, she's going tonight, and people would go, and they'd make food, and they'd sing. And I remember being out on somebody's front porch and looking through the windows, a house filled, an elderly woman, people all in her room crying and praying. And I watched her die. I mean, I remember seeing that. And, I remember people going, she's gone, and everybody crying. And so I grew up with it. I remember being in school, and the teacher said something. I was in elementary school. And the teacher had asked, has anybody ever been to a funeral? And nobody in the class had been. And I'm like, y'all have never, I couldn't even count how many funerals. I've been singing at funerals since I was 5. I couldn't, you've never been, how is that even possible? So that's always been my paradigm. It's like, it's just the next thing. It's like you don't ever really stop existing. You just go to the next dimension, and it's not scary. And that's really what for her sake, I want to spare her some dignity. And I got to tell you, if I went this afternoon and a nurse had said, we didn't know how to get in touch with you, but she quietly passed, I'd be like, thank you. I'm sure I'll be upset, but I'm like, because I do not, she has no idea what rehab's going to be like for her. And,
because one of the things I used to always, because I did my time in the military in the medical field, and one of the things I truly tried to avoid at all costs was rehab, because I think they was trying to kill you. And I had to do it one time, and I was convinced that woman was trying to kill me. But Mama, she decided that she wanted to do hospice. She made that decision on her own,
That's awesome.
you know, and she called me because you know I was her
Right.
daughter. And when I tell you I was sick, before, you know, when she called me and she in South Carolina and I was down here and I had to make all the phone calls from down here and whatnot. And then when I made all the phone calls and we went down there and we had to sit and tell the families what I was. And when I tell you they were not happy and they was like, why you didn't tell us? And she told them, she said, you know, I know Sonia would, you know, ask the right questions and whatnot. Nobody. When I mean, because Mama was the matriarch of the family. Nobody was happy that she had picked hospice. But there was nothing left.
Listen, hospice is a blessing. Hospice,
It is a blessing.
oh my God, what
Nowadays,
a,
people go in it and come back out.
yeah.
And they tell you that hospice.
No,
hospice
people that work in
doesn't
hospice are angels.
People, they tell you that when you go into hospice doesn't mean that you're going to die right away.
Right.
Hospice means that.
No, y'all remember Miss Marion, Sandra's mother?
Yeah.
She went into hospice for a long time and then came out.
Yeah,
So yeah, but just the fact that it's there
it's there.
and that she had the presence of mind to want to go there,
Right.
what a huge blessing.
And they would do it at home, and they would come every week, and they would sit down, and they would talk to her. And I mean, they had like 2 or 3 people would come every week and talk to Mom, and they would treat what she was feeling right there at that moment, because she wasn't going to get better with the illnesses that
Right.
she had. But if her temperature was high, if she had a pain right here, they would treat that pain.
Well, since you brought that up, if you really want to agree with me, that would be second best thing.
Right.
Like if they said to me, we're going to forego making her go through this
Right.
because she's not going to walk again. We're going to take her straight to hospice. I would be like, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Because
thank you.
That was the best thing for
Yeah.
Mama, because they knew, because with your mother's age, when you told me that they broke her hip, she broke her hip, the first thing I said to Rich, I said, Rich, she's too old for surgery.
Totally. Well, they said surgery's not even an option.
That's
They're
not
like,
even an
yeah.
option.
And I wouldn't want it for her.
Right, she's too old for surgery, and so you wouldn't be able to help her. So she's gonna have to go into even if she go into rehab.
Right.
Because to be able to do the things that she needs to do, she's gonna need 2 people just to even lift her to the bathroom.
Totally.
So she's gonna have to have some help there.
Well, where I'm at on it, and thank you for that. Where I'm at on it, it's like I honestly have no regrets. You know what I mean? I'm like, I might have, pardon me, bitched and moaned about a bunch of stuff, but I've been there. I've been on top of, like, she hasn't gone without one thing. And, you know, I don't regret the year in assisted living, especially because when he needed me, I thought I can't do both of these. And so one of the greatest blessings about that is while I was taking care of him, I never had to worry about her. They had it. And this past year, y'all know, you heard every detail about it. I dreaded it, but it's turned out to be such a blessing for us. I mean, it really has. For however long he has still at his job, it's like 30 to 40 minutes closer. So it's a blessing to him. It's close enough to downtown that I can be down here just about every day. It's not. I mean, it's ideal for us. So whenever she does go, I'll be like, and I've said this to many of y'all about your own loved ones. I walked her all the way up to the gate, and don't have any regrets at all. Anyway, yeah.
I would like to say that God have mercy on those that sit home on their couches and try to judge you and how you have moved. I stand in the gap and pray, God have mercy on them, because you are an elder. You stand before God with the choices that you have made. And so I pray God have mercy on them. They better not come after you.
Rosalind is not my intercessor. Rosalind's my thug.
Don't mess with her.
Rosalind,
Don't mess with him.
she might pray for me, but she will possibly cut you. Because I've heard her, she's all in her teacher voice, everything, but when she gets mad,
She's the mother of the church in the old tradition.
thank you. And I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that
mean
energy.
I mean that.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's like, man, to
No,
step
they
in
haven't
that role
walked
for
it.
somebody.
Right.
That's why I say sitting home on your couches as you reading and judging. Have a seat and shut your mouth. Because you have not walked this path. They have no clue. They ain't read that story in the Old Testament. Y'all remember that story in the Old Testament? Where, come on, where those children were making fun of Elisha because he had a bald head? Those children were eating my bears. So they better leave this man alone. All right, I'm done.
And on that note,
She said that with her whole chest.
you go, what? What'd you say?
I said she said that with her whole chest.
You see my shirt today, Bishop? You see my shirt today?
What is it?
It says,
Please don't try me. Try.
all right.
Well, listen, thanks. You know what?
Been placed in the last time been here.
Say what?
You got a bunch of hoodies in here today.
I'm telling you, we've gone pure ghetto.
You know what? I'm good with it.
They taking our building, so, you know, we got to work on it. Don't try to be trying
Ken
to
is about the
still working
bougiest
on it.
person in here, and you bougie.
So what are you doing down here today? Are you just in for a visit or what? What's going on?
You know, I've been back and forth with my son because he lost his wife. He lives in Virginia.
Okay.
I had a lot of deaths.
You did. Good Lord.
Yeah,
The Valley of the Shadow. Well, you look good.
thank you.
It didn't. I wouldn't know it. I mean, I think you've come through the fire without the smell of smoke on your clothes.
Riding through the storm with Jesus on board.
Come on now.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad you're here. You know, I adore you. Love you always. Thank you for your prophecy and your lunch money. And you sent me lunch money too, and it helped. I really, you know, let me tell you about energy. You know, my, wait, I'm going to get an emo. Hang on. You know, Louisa, my teacher that I'm friends with, who, you know, I virtually worship her. And in the middle of the night when I was there, she texted me. She says, what can I do? What do I need to do? I'm like, what are you doing up so late? Because, you know, she's a teacher and has her own health issues. And she's like, I can do anything. I can bring a martini up there. And she offered it a second time. I said, if you say it a third time, I'm going to take you up on it. But yesterday I texted her. I said, look, she texted again. She's seriously, I don't have to teach for the next 4 days. I can do whatever. I said, there's nothing you can do, but it means the world that you want to. Right. And that's what really helps when people are like, there's nothing they can do. I mean, and the thing is, Mom's well taken care of. We'll go have, look, tomorrow's Avery's birthday, and we'll go have, you know, I'll go wish her a happy birthday tomorrow. I'm sorry I don't have flowers for you or anything, but, oh yeah, I got these for you.
Nothing was alive. So I said, go get a rose.
That's beautiful. I think y'all know, when in the dictionary, when you look up the word faithful, there's just a picture of Avery. And, you know, by now, there's nothing else I can say I haven't said. I can't.
Here's a raise.
Y'all start giving some more money, I'll be happy to give her a raise. But anyway, happy birthday to you. You know how much we all love you and need you. Can't imagine life without you. I'm going to just go through this real quick. Welcome to the Metron Live podcast coming to you from the Atlanta Theater. Metron people, please welcome the podcast people. Just very quickly, this is going to be a truncated teaching, And thank you for all your words. This is part 3 of the time of your life, harmonizing the Chronos with the Kairos for optimal manifestation. I just want to show you this one phrase out of a verse in the book of Psalms. I've always loved this phrase, and it's super, it resonates with me a lot right now. It's Psalm 31:15 in the New King James Version. And David says, my times, plural, are in your hand. I nearly could just say, thanks for coming. Do you hear what I'm saying? My times. Paul said, it's no longer I that lives, it's Christ that lives in me, and the life that I now live. He talked about, you think about when you were single, when you were in college, when you were a parent of babies and toddlers. You were like in a completely different life than you are now. Things that mattered to you at a certain time, they're different now. Some of you have been widowed, and it's a different life now. It's the same you, but it's just different. And if you navigate your times right, you should get better with each era. Yeah. What's supposed to happen is the things that were really bothersome to you in previous times, they don't matter now. We used to sing that song, Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus. The lyric says, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim. That's a very well-turned phrase. Because even I won't share it, but I was having a very funny interchange with one of my cousins texting last night. I've got several cousins that I'm kind of like I am with Howie. I never say hello or goodbye. I just call them and I'm like, what's the deal with so-and-so? We just go right into it and okay, I got to go by. Like that's our way we converse. And so my cousin was making me, this wasn't my cousin LaDonna, this is another cousin. She was really making me laugh, and she was telling me something. She was showing me some pictures of another relative that was like, oh my God, that's what she looks like now. We were being, and in fairness to her, she's the caretaker of this other relative. And because what it opened with, I texted her, I said, just so you know, if you're trying to get in touch with Mom, she doesn't even have her phone. So she's not seeing your text. And she said, I wish so-and-so didn't have a phone. So that's how the conversation started. She said, if you can come pick up hers, I'd be happy. I'm like, it's the least I can do. But as we talked a little bit, I mentioned, I'm trying to be careful how I say this. I said, I'll tell you this. If I ever have any issues with these cousins of mine, I think about who raised them, and I just have mercy on them and say, God help them, because I know what they dealt with growing up. And she said, absolutely, I'm the same way. And my point is, you're supposed to navigate your times and continually put away childish things. It's not even a conscious effort at repentance. It's just like, that doesn't... it's like that moment, and I'm maybe not always successful with this, but that sometimes you start to put something on and you think, what, I'm too old to wear this now. And it's not a bad thing. It's just like, I try to find ways. I want to stay cool. I want to still be me. But I also know, like, dude, come on now. You're a grandfather. You can't. And I'm not always successful at that, but I know that's the... And you're not, just giving up, moving into a nursing home. It's just like, no, let me find what's the new normal for my age, and I'll be fine with that. And I'll still be cool, and I'll still be me, and, all of that. But you're constantly, and it's sad when you see people that didn't get the memo. And you want to say, oh, baby, you're about 40 years past that. Just embrace the new you, and it's okay. Your current age is beautiful, and be that. But that's superficial. What I'm talking about is I don't even have to over-explain this. Just hear this with your heart. Wherever I'm at on my journey, whatever the life is that I now lead. Because like you said about my season, but like this morning, also when I went down, I thought, oh my God, this thermostat's too low down here. She'll be too cold. And I thought, no, I'm having to update my files. Non-issue now. And change is daunting.
And it's constant. Always.
And you have to hear me, even when you're in a bad situation, it's still weird when the bad things, when you're released from a bad situation, it's not like you just run right out going, la, 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 I'm free. It's like you have to get used to it's like what the slaves went through after the Emancipation Proclamation. It wasn't like everybody just ran off the plantation. It was just like, this is all I know. Who am I now? That's why the recidivism rate is so high in prison, because people that have been incarcerated for years, freedom it's too much to deal with sometimes, because you've been, what's the word, you said it, if you don't mind me saying, it's something you talked about in your own personal life. You said, I realize I've been institutionalized about an old mindset. And that was a very articulate word, because that is what it's like. So sometimes we've been in emotional prison. Remember in Shawshank Redemption when, who's the old white guy? I can't remember his name. Whitmore. He had been in prison since he was a teenager, and when he got out, he was like a bag boy in a grocery store, and he went and killed himself because he didn't know. Somebody had told him when to urinate and when to sleep, and for all those years, he said, I don't know how to. And I thought, man, that's deep, man. When you've been institutionalized so long, you don't even know how to live. So change is going to challenge your equilibrium, And I'm even prepared for it with me. Even last night we were talking. I said, when she does go, I want you to know how I'm thinking about changes I want to do downstairs. I said, I'm going to go room by room, and I'm going to start with the foyer. And he said, I want to bring the grandfather clock over here that I bought from my parents. And I said, settle down. I don't know if that's going to go here. And I said, we'll find a place for it, but. And then he cussed me out, He's like, you know how he is. No, it's something he feels sentimental about because he bought for his parents. But anyway, but it's still weird. You know what I mean? It's like, should I even be talking about this? But, you have to. I even went by, this may be TMI, but I had to go pick up a prescription, and I drove by a funeral home that I want to use because I wanted to see if they were there and I could look at it, because I wanted to look at their chapel. And I also wanted to know, do they have a place here where you could do like a repast or something? Because I didn't know if this facility had it. And I do like this particular one. I wouldn't tell my mom that today, but I'm like, you can't help but you have to think, well, what's the next thing? Because
you should be doing those things instead of waiting until the last
well,
minute.
thank you. Because I didn't want to feel like I was rushing it, but I thought, no, I need to get in my head, I need to get a picture. Because if they don't, because what I was thinking is, if they don't have a place here, I need to look around where would be a place that I could do something.
You're making it easier on yourself preparing for the new.
Well, that's what I was feeling. I was like, this feels, because I want to honor her. I don't want it to be some afterthought. Like, no, I want people, because as much as I've complained about her, There was a whole part of my mom that was amazing. She was, in her day, she was amazing. And so much of my like artistic ability I got from her. And as much as she could be a diva, she never, like my dad pastored like, little sad little Pentecostal churches. She never complained about it. She always, would. We moved into a dad pastored a church in Bremen for about and to his credit, he would always go in and elevate the church, and they'd build a new building. He'd always leave it better than he found it. But that was a whole other, we moved in this place. It was so bad. There was no heat in it. There was no insulation. The first week that we lived there, Mom and Dad and me and the dog had to sleep in the same bed with coats and hats on it because there was like 10 inches of snow on the ground. It was horrible. He had gone over to paint the place before we got there, and because there was no insulation, the paint had slid all the way up. And she never, ever complained about it. She went into that house, which is still there. I drove by there not long ago. Look, it doesn't look, they've done stuff to the outside, so it doesn't look so bad now. She did so much in that house. This is back when newspapers used to have society columns. They came and did I totally remember the Bremen Gateway. Hassie Hancock was the editor. And they came and did a 2-page spread of taking pictures of that house, what Mom had done with it. And like, that's the way she was. And she could, last week at my uncle's, my Aunt Clarice was a virtuoso on the piano. But I was thinking about, man, Mom could play that organ, and an organ, it's like 2 keyboards and you're doing bass. I couldn't do it. It messes with my ADD or whatever. But she could do it, and she'd play those Pentecostals. Those parts of her were great. And I want people to remember her like that. So there's just a way that I want it to be classy for her. I always, Atlanta, I always loved Patterson's Funeral Home over there on 10th Street. Spring Street. But it's not a funeral home now. That's where I did my first funeral. It's where Margaret Mitchell's funeral was. It's beautiful antiques in there. But they have another one, Oglethorpe Hill, that was built in 1960, and that's the one I want to go to. I just do. It's expensive, but I went yesterday and I looked through the window and I said, Ken, come here, let me show you. This is why I want to do her funeral here, because it's got black and white tile that I love. That's my thing. And I thought I had to get a picture of that, because I'm going to be in a new time now. And once I get this done, I was telling him, I said, when she goes, I want to keep our bedroom up here. I want to change her bedroom into like a guest bedroom downstairs. So if any of our kids want to come, they can stay. It's just like, I'm still in this time, but I'm preparing because it's times.
Yeah.
And to say, y'all think about this when you're about to go through a change and you don't know what's going to happen next. I want you to remember these words. My times are in your hand. And whatever's going to be next will be okay, because God's got me. You hear me? All right, let me run through this real quick. I just got a few memes. Well, this is from Matthew in the Now. This is Matthew 6:33 and 34. But seek out and search for a revelation of the kingdom of God in and through every circumstance and in every situation. And seek it first, or first thing, before you strive with the circumstance, before you start to worry about the situation, before you fret over it, before you allow yourself to become overwhelmed by it or let it become exaggerated in your mind. And along with your primary search, look diligently for his righteousness. That's seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Or his rightness to be revealed somewhere in the thing as well. When you prioritize the kingdom in this way, then you can be sure that everything in your personal world will come into order, and that all you need for your daily provision will just automatically flow into your life and will be added to you as a result of your quest. So don't worry or be anxious about what may or may not happen tomorrow. Live in the now, because the kingdom is always revealed in the now. Deal with tomorrow and what it may bring when it gets here, knowing that tomorrow will have worries and anxieties of its own. As you live each day as it comes, God will enable you to successfully handle each day's trouble, whatever it may be. Of course, I'm going to say available at jimswilleybooks.com and on amazon.com. All right, next. I love this. You are allowed to outgrow everything you once tolerated.
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
My times are in your hands. Even, you know when you've really moved on from a relationship is when they can't even make you mad anymore. There's always that time when you're in an argument with somebody and you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't even care enough. Indifference is when you know a thing's over. When they can still make you mad, you still got some passion there. When you're just like, again, may I refer to the color purple. When somebody's in your face and you pull a Swilley on them and just go like, that just means like, no, we're not doing that anymore. Next. There are two different types of time. Chronos time is what we live in. It's regular time. It's 1 minute at a time. It's staring down the clock till bedtime time. It's 10 excruciating minutes in the target line time. It's 4 screaming minutes in time out of time. It's 2 hours till daddy gets home time. Chronos is the hard, slow passing time we parents also often live in. Then there's Kairos time. Kairos is God's time. It's time outside of time. It's metaphysical time. It's those magical moments in which time stands still. I have a few of those moments each day and I cherish them. Again, not just to make a bigger deal than it's necessary about LaDonna cleaning up the dog crap, but let me just tell you, it was a Kairos moment for me. Because I walked in feeling I walked into the house going, what am I going to do now? Because at that time I was still thinking, I guess I'm going to have to I'm looking at how will I get her in and out of this bed? I'm thinking those practical things. And then I looked over at that clean bathroom floor and it was like I could hear the angels sing. Because what it said to me is, you are going to be fine. She's going to be fine. Everything that's negative in the world is just dog crap. It's not permanent. You feel me? It can easily be cleaned up. If you went and looked at that bathroom floor right now, you never know a dog had ever been there. I'm like, good Lord, LaDonna, what'd you use to clean it? Number 5. This is what, when Leslie was here last week, this is what I was referring to. Healing isn't gentle, it dismantles what survival built. Holy cow. When people say, I'm in a healing time, well, take a deep breath, because healing is, fill in your expletive. You know what I mean? It takes a long time to learn wrong things and unlearning them. Because, we get addicted to the hormones of stress. You get addicted to being upset. You get addicted to being depressed. Because when you're not that way, then you don't feel like you anymore.
Right.
You know what it's like when you're like, oh, I'm really happy and free today. Is that okay? Is that okay? Because you know what it can feel like? I'm out of touch with responsibility. That's why I always tell you, I love all of the meditation weekends, but the ones on the beach are my favorite because the ocean is so big and powerful and you can't manage it. It's bigger than you. If you swam out too far in it, it would kill you. You're not going to beat the ocean. So there's something that happens in your brain when you sit by the ocean. It forces you to surrender and say, I'm just going to be here in this moment and enjoy the surf. I can't manage the ocean. It's like a reality check in a good way. Do you know what I mean? Because guess what? When you're out of here, all the stuff that you're worried about, I know you don't want to believe this, but the world's going to go on without you.
Quickly
It just is. I remember, pardon me for name dropping, but back in the day when Ryan Klesko still played for the Braves, I spent a lot of time, I was in the Braves clubhouse. I've never been able to go to a Braves game after that because I've had a different vantage point. A couple of times, yes. So, I mean, I knew people that were, anyway, he gets traded to the Padres, and I swear this was like no more than 2 weeks later. Sometimes I would drive his car, if he was there in two cars, I would drive he had a Hummer, I would drive it there for him, which was cool. I was into it, you know. It's like that was a very heady time. But I was with him in the car that day as he drove into the Braves parking lot where he had played for the last decade. And the person behind the window said, "Who are you now?" And I'm like, I'm not even a sports fan, and I would know, didn't he play for the Braves? It was such a moment for me to hear this person who's working for the Braves says, "Now who are you?" And Brian's having to show him ID. I'm like, wow, the world moves on really, really fast. And you can respond to that one of two ways. It can make you feel unimportant, or it can make you say, well, then I need to, whatever I can do to make the world a better place while I'm here, I need to do it. Because I'm not going to save it. I'm not going to fix everything. But so I need to make some investments in people. I need to leave them something they can remember me by. If you've got kids and grandkids, make some investments in them. That's why yesterday I wanted to call that girl, my sweet granddaughter that I adore. I wanted to hear her little excited voice. And there's a part of me that wants to say, do not get up there in that plane. That is too high. But I'm like, I'm not going to rain on her parade. I'm like, she's excited. I'm like, Sophia, I'm blown away. I'm so proud of you. I mean, that's incredible. And so I want, you know, I don't know when I'm going to see her again. If that was the last conversation I ever had with her, I want her to stand up at my funeral and say, boy, my poppy, the last time I talked about him, he was so proud and posting all kind of stuff online about it. I'm like, heck yeah, I am. I mean, I was being a jerk about it. I was like, hey, that's my granddaughter flying a plane over there. What's your grandkid doing? Because I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to now. Last week at the service, for Don's service, we're in line to process in. So I could see my kids were standing, I don't know, about 20 people in front of me because I was back with the clergy. So I have a family member who, you know, when you know family really, really well, a simple question they ask can be very loaded. So I'm standing there with it, and we're being cordial and fine, and this family member looks at me and says, Jim, how are your kids? And I know what that question means. That question, what he's written, because I just know, he's like, you know, your kids that you traumatized when you came out, you know that. And I was like, they're fine. They're right there. He said, they're here? I'm like, well, of course they're here. What? Where else would they be? So I sat with my kids at the repast and I was telling them about it. And Jared said, why don't you just tell him, why don't you meet with me and give a tutorial on child raising? I said, it's fine. That's just how he's wired. And I knew that's what that meant. And that's why if you look on my Facebook page, you see my cover photo is me and my kids that love me and they're totally fine with me. And, you know, I'm sure that's a little bit of a surprise for him. because he comes from a mindset that feels like you scandalized your family. I'm like, no, I told the truth.
Yeah.
That part.
I was reading an article, this is back when I came out, it's Rolling Stone or one of those rock and roll magazines that had interviewed Jared about me coming out. And he said, "What, did it traumatize you?" And he said, "No, my dad's a badass." He said, "I don't know how he's done what he's done, having to deal with that and built that great ministry." I'm like, yeah, that's when you ask how my kids are, that's how they are. But that's the main legacy I can leave. You know, I mean, I believe I'll leave an impartation with you all. I mean, I do believe that. I mean, there's a lot of me in you. I'm aware of that. But you know, you got to keep it in perspective. You can't fix everything. So you focus on what really matters and have those little moments. I will remember that moment about LaDonna for the rest of my life. And I've got little moments like that with many of you, that you were just there at the right time and you said a thing that you didn't even think was that big a deal. I remember having lunch with you and I was having that drama about the refrigerator, and I know it sounds crazy, but there was something going on, and you just very simply said, "You need to tell your dad to let it go, let you know, break the energy and get." And I said, "That's it," and I did, and that's exactly what happened. I will always remember that. I've got memories like that with so many of y'all, and y'all have got them with me. That's what you leave behind.
That day you came to me and I was traumatized with Sammy's body in there, and I couldn't go in there and look at it. And that'll always that'll go with me to the other side that afternoon.
I miss him a lot. I love that guy.
He was a Swilley-ite.
He was, and he would tell y'all don't know. If y'all don't know the history of Pentecost, there was a man named William Branham that was like it's too hard to explain. But he died years ago. But he still has all of these cult followers that call them. I guess there's not as many now. A lot of them have died off. But if you were a Branhamite, that was a whole thing. Sammy used to go, "I ain't no Branhamite, I'm a Swilleyite." He would always get quickened when he would say it. But yes.
There was that, I don't know if you remember this, there was that one morning that he introduced you at the theater over there, and he got up, he did that whole spiel about the man of power, the man of
And he
power.
meant it.
Yeah, the man of God coming forth right now like he was at a Shambach crusade.
He meant it. You know, I told at Carlton's, I did part of Carlton's funeral that they did here, and I told about him because back when we were at the Virginia Highland Church, remember? I had said a statement. I said, you know, because they're all closed now, but Atlanta used to have several gay-owned restaurants. There was like Cow Tippers and Joe's on Juniper. They've all closed. But anyway, I had made a statement. I said, you know, it's really weird when you go to one of these places for brunch now, it's like young gay couples with children. Everybody's got strollers, and you know, you see two men or two women sitting there with babies. It's not at all like what you think a gay club would be like. It's like they're all families. Sammy said, "I don't believe in that." He said, "I believe in being gay the old time way." I told Carlton Pierce that, and he fell in the floor laughing. He thought that was one of the funniest things, because he knew what that meant. If you weren't raised around Pentecost, you don't know what that is. But that's the quickening. We're like, ow! White people would do it. Like, I grew up with little white ladies doing like that. But then when I started going to black churches, it was taken up a notch. It was like, but I thought, oh, it's the same thing. You're responding to it more. But it's kind of it's kind of spiritually. I'm not trying to be dirty, but it's like similar to a physical manifestation. That's all I'm going to say. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's what it's like. It's like you feel something that's bigger than you are.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah, y'all hear me. But I just thought, I don't know, I just love that. Anyway, this is just simple. I've already posted it. Everything is going to work out exactly how and when it should. There is no need to stress or worry. Be present and enjoy as much as you can. Don't rush anywhere. Slow down and choose to see life through the lens of gratitude. You know what my plan is today? Finish this out in the next few minutes and go have lunch and then go see my mom. What's the big plan after that? I don't know. You know.
But it's gonna be a good day, whatever that's going to be.
Man,
It's gonna be a good day.
one day recently you just posted that. Today's a good day. It was just a simple thing to say, but I thought, you know what? Yes, it is. Because it was on a day I was having a lot of challenges, and just that simple statement, I thought, he's right. It's a good day, period. And then finally, life is a series of changes, a process of going from the old to the new, from Chronos to Kairos. Growth, change, revival, all are processes. Life is connected. Not understanding this, we tend to despise the Chronos times of preparing, sowing, believing, and persevering. Our preference is to always live in the Kairos times of fresh and strategic opportunities. That's a lot of words that just basically says, don't let the Chronos stress you out and embrace the Kairos. Kairos always wins. Whatever God is to you is always on time. And everything will work out. Worrying about it is a colossal waste of time. I mean, how many times, there was no point in Charles or Michelle or BJ or Avery and Ernie, there was no necessity for them to text me today and say, hey, I just want you to know we're going to be there today. Because of course they're going to be here. Why wouldn't they be? I mean, there's been occasions, like sometimes Michelle couldn't get out of her driveway or something. I'm not saying they have to be. I'm just saying, of course they're going to be. The same way that the sun rose. Well, if you have people in your life that are that dependable, how much more? I mean, what more would God have to do to show you, like, how many times has the thing worked out? Why would you be worrying now? Tell me one time it didn't work out, because you know it always did. And it always does. And there's sometimes you have to go, well, I don't know how this was going to work out, but my times are in your hand. Let's all stand. Thanks for hearing me out.
That was worth the drive.
Was it? Did you drive straight in?
Yep.
I'm just taking a moment with you. I don't want to let y'all go yet. Remember little moments. He didn't even know this, but one night this week, I don't know, it's just the way he was sitting at the foot of the bed, just doing something, and I went by and said, you okay? And my mom gets these little moon pies, and it was just the way he said, yeah, I'm just eating a moon pie. It was just something. He just looked so cute and sweet and innocent. It was just like, just for a minute, I was like, he's just eating a moon pie. How adorable is that? Because he was just being quiet. The TV wasn't on. I was like, is everything okay? He's like, yeah. I'm eating a moon pie. It's such a simple moment.
I got to get some more.
But have you ever had a moment like that where it's just emblazoned on your mind?
Now we all want moon pie. I gotta stop getting me a moon pie.
Double dip on that.
Play the outro, please, and I'll release you. You know what? Don't worry about it. If it's not coming through, they know what to do.
620-5044. You will then receive a notification that you successfully completed your donation. You may also visit BishInTheNow.com and click the support tab to give there as well. When you contribute to Metron, you're also donating to the charity or organization of the month. Thank you for your investment into Metron.
Avery, come here. Avery. Stretch your hands toward Avery. We thank you for all that you do. We honor you for your amazing faithfulness, not just to me, but to Metron. We couldn't do what we do without you. You are never taken for granted. We honor you. We're impressed by your weight loss and how great you look, and your youth is being renewed like the eagles, and we just declare that your best days are ahead of you. And I harness that energy of that wave that happened that early morning a few months ago, standing by the lake there in Blue Ridge, where I talked about joy, and that wave came out of nowhere. I harness that wave for you and say you are entering into joy unspeakable and full of glory. I bless you. I bless your children. I bless your grandchildren. I bless everything that you are and everything that you are becoming. You are well. With long life, he satisfies you and shows you his salvation. And we speak every good blessing on you today for your birthday in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. There's your blessing. You're all blessed. Your times are in his hands.